Hey loves, welcome back to Hearth and Moon, a Witchy Momcast. I am your host, Luna Mystic, and today I'm joined by a guest whose path is both grounded and magical. I'm sitting down with Thistle, a Witchy Mama, Druid Pagan practitioner, and soulful business owner. Together, we're exploring the intersections of motherhood, magic, and running a spiritually aligned business. We'll talk about the Druid path, raising kids with witchy values, and staying rooted in integrity as a spiritual entrepreneur. This episode is equal parts grounding and inspiring, and I can't wait to dive in. Grab a cup of tea, light a candle, and join us by the hearth. So, witchy mom, that's a very common term that people use towards me. And I don't wanted to know, do you use that term for yourself? And if so, what does it mean to you being called a witchy mom?
I struggle with what to call myself. My husband is really into I think this kind of describes what you are. And I'm like, okay. I don't know. Um Druid fits, but it also doesn't feel like it comes out. Like you have to explain that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is not something I've actually ever called myself to other people, like other than my husband or to you. um I don't know, it felt not uncomfortable, but like I don't know if I get to call myself that. And so I don't know. So for me, I'm always like, I don't know, because I'm weird. And that's usually what I end up stopping it at. I'm like, because I'm weird. And
Yeah.
I gesture at something. um I don't know. I don't like. I'm not opposed to being called that. It's like you can't really control what people decide you, um, if you fit that bill or not. But personally, no, I've never actually used it.
Going back on something you had said prior, that you haven't really forced your beliefs on your child, but
Mm.
obviously he sees you doing them. Were there any practices that you intentionally talked to him about to pass down to him?
Um, I think that it would. Well, that's an interesting question. Okay, so in my family, um, there are ancestral skills. My grandmother was very intent on saying, I have to pass these down to you. And they're mundane, basically. Okay. They were, sewing, growing your own food, how to cook, how to mend something, how to, all these different things. And she was very intent. She's like, I have to pass it. And well, you're here, you have to learn. Um, my brother was too young, and so I was the only grandchild that could learn that lived there close enough. I saw her like every other day. She didn't live that far from us. And I was it. And so she's like, you have to. But she also had this intense to go along with her gardening, which was a lot of the lessons. It wouldn't have surprised me if she was literally pagan herself. She wouldn't have called it that. She wouldn't have said that. She never said that. However, when I look back as an adult, I'm like, oh, grandma, what? Hold up. I get what you're saying. And it doesn't surprise me because it's my step grandmother, so her son would say stuff like, these trees are my cathedral. And he would go off of those kind of things. And I remember thinking that was super weird at the time. But looking back, I'm like, oh wait, you were trying to say it without saying it. How did I miss this? And they're all long passed away. So it's not like I could just call her up and be like, hey, is that what you meant? Um, I have no idea. Uh, um, So there's a lot of ancestral skills, stuff that we don't necessarily learn as much today. So the sewing, the mending, the cooking, the growing your own food. So gardening for us is very much very steeped in all of all of our spiritual practices. So when I teach that, that is part of it. So when I
Okay.
have them grow stuff, it's all a part of it. It's all about talking to the plant. It's all about caring for the soil. It's all in it, and being of an animistic mindset. It's all incorporated in it. So that stuff has been passed. Does he know how to light a candle? Probably not, but the boy can grow food.
That's important though. So let's talk about your business. How would you describe your business? We'll start
Which
with
one?
that. All of the above. I
All
mean,
of
I
the
know
above.
about it.
Um,
Thistle and Peach Apothecary, Bearwood, how they all came together.
yeah, Bearwood is an interesting project. That's what it is. No. Okay. So I own Thistle and Peach Apothecary. I'm a co-owner. I am the Thistle of Thistle and Peach Apothecary. My sister-in-law is the Peach. Literally, those are our names that we go by when we're playing like online games and stuff. My husband once called me. Um, First of all, our heritage is Scottish, so that made sense that it would be the national flower of Scotland. And he said, "You're like a thistle. You're really pretty, but you will stab a person if they get too close." And I went, "This is great. I'm going to do this." Um, so online, I've been Thistle Bear for a long time. I decided Bear didn't need to be in Thistle and Peach Apothecary because that's already a mouthful. And I answered the Thistle anyway. So, and then I don't know why she picked Peachy. I'm realizing we've never talked about that, but anyway. So, a body care shop, and I literally couldn't stop leaning towards making herbal remedies. And I mean, we have apothecary in the name, and I literally grow all of it outside. I'm like, that lavender, I planted that seed, right? This yarrow, I actually don't use yarrow. Yeah, that was something new for this year, but like all of that calendula that's in the salve, that's in the soap, that's in the, I grow that. That's all, I grow it all. And so I was like, this makes sense. But when you do herbal remedies, it starts leaning witchy, whether you like it or not, unfortunately. And I just kept leaning that way. And for a while, people would be like, why are you doing this? And Lindsay, who's been raised around, my business partner, has been raised around pagans and things too. She's This just makes sense to her. But I didn't think it quite fit. Like I felt like I was putting a square peg in a round hole, and that it didn't match the Bath and Body vibe that we were going for. And the team of reps we had at the time, it didn't match them at all. And so, like, yeah, some of them would buy it, yes. But I also had like this fear that they were all gonna like freak out or something. I don't know. So, I have some unreasonable fears. That's what I'm saying here. So I decided it was probably it needed a brand name. And I decided that at the same exact time I said we need a men's line and we need to give it another name. So I did that. I pulled it both out and made them into their own things. And then I just quietly worked on Bearwood on the side. That was the fourth rename. It had other names. And that's one I actually settled on because I had bear in it. And bears are really important to me, so it made sense. What do I do over there? Well, most of the soaps are over there too. Maybe not the Fruit Loops or the weird scented ones, but all the crystal top soaps are over there. All the herbal remedies live over there. The intention candles, all that stuff. I'm free to just go put that over there. and build it as it's part of it. It's a brand, but it's on the side. I have no idea what I'm doing. So, my other businesses, I'm also a notary and a bookkeeper. So there's some mundane boringness there too.
Do you see your products as tools for ritual, just self-care, or something more?
I think the act of self-care is a ritual.
Agreed.
I think it's one of those mundane things you can make as magical as you need to, or want to, or wish to, or as mundane as you want it to be. I mean, in the end, yeah, it is just soap. It is what you make of it. So if you're, I don't know, like as moms, sometimes the shower is the place that you're finally alone. Maybe a kid's beating on the door, but for the most part, you get to be alone, and that's your moment. And I found that when I had I only have one, obviously, but that was the time. A, I got to be alone, and two, that I'm really drawn to water. As an earth sign, it's interesting to me, but I'm really drawn to water, and there's something about water that helps me alleviate anxiety and set intentions. And I found that that is where I would start to do it. I would have something to set, and that's where I did it, in the shower. I have no idea why, but that's where it is. And so it makes sense to me that soap and or lotion and or whatever else you have is going to be part of that.
That's awesome. Running a spiritually aligned business can be beautiful, but also challenging. What are a couple of the big lessons that you've learned along the way with Thistle and Peach and Bearwood and Celtic Woodsman?
That it's not you they don't like. That if they don't like the product you made, it's okay. It's not you. It's not you. It's well, unless you said something stupid, I guess, but it's probably not you. It's okay if they didn't like the way that smelled. It's okay if the soap isn't okay for their skin. Like it's not personal. And especially with like the spiritual side of it, with the Bearwood products, like I can't control what you do with the product after you've bought it. I don't know if it didn't work. I don't know what to tell you. Like that's nope. I don't have to fix it for you because I you used it as intended, and I'm so sorry you didn't like it. But yeah, no, it's not about you. It's just not. That's I think the hardest thing was not taking it personal.
I can feel that too. I've had plenty of people get a notepad. Oh, that doesn't look like how I expected it to. Sorry. I took what you told me and I made it and I sent it to you.
And your notepads look the same online as they look in person. So
I've had 2 or 3 people say otherwise.
That's sad. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know. I have a ton of your notepads.
At first, it would bother me, but now it's like, yeah, they're not mad at me because I can't control how you pictured it in your head because I'm not in there. And I send proof links and all of that stuff. So it's like, you approved this. You knew what it was going to look like. Sorry.
I think it's also difficult, like people, at least for us, because we're body care, right? And some people are trying to replace what they get at other places. We can't make it all. We can't do it all. Same thing with any of the Bearwood stuff. I've been asked for some very interesting candles, and I'm like, that's out of my wheelhouse. I don't even know where to start that. No, I don't know that deity. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you don't have to do it all. You shouldn't do it all, and that's okay.
Is there one product that holds deep personal spiritual meaning to you from your small shop?
I'm really partial to the soap. There's something about you can put so many different things you can put in it to make it do something else. And it teaches patience like no other thing. And you have to trust the process. Like, we have a soap, I think we call it Bee's Knees, and it's our honey and oat soap. When I add that honey to that soap, when I'm making it, when it's just oils being emulsified with lye water, it turns neon orange. Absolutely bright orange every single time. The first time it did it, I was like, oh no, what is happening? I don't want this to be an orange. No one will believe that I didn't put mica in this, and it's supposed to be an uncolored, natural soap. It turns bright orange until it, cools down and finishes the process. Once it's soap, once it's saponified, then it's that oatmeal color. But yeah, no, it turns bright orange. And so it teaches, like, I can't see what's inside that loaf until it's been at least 24 hours and I get to cut it. So yeah, there's a bit of it, and then it forces you to slow down. It's been a good teacher.
Bright orange.
Bright, yeah. I'll send you a picture next time I do it. It's bright orange.
Finally,
ridiculously orange.
Finally, what advice would you give to someone who feels pulled toward a pagan or druid path but isn't sure where to begin?
Oh. Start with the basics. Read everything you can get a hold of. You don't have to buy the books. You can find them used. Well, I guess that's still buying, but you know what I mean. You can borrow them from other people if you know them. Find people you can talk with. And basically read everything you can. Don't just get stuck in one kind of thing. You may realize that it wasn't quite for you. And it's perfectly okay to rewrite your entire story and grow with what you've learned. There's nothing wrong with going, well, I've learned this whole thing. I'm going to throw it all out now and start over something else. This wasn't actually working. That was an interesting journey. Time for a new one. That's okay. And you'll figure out what's good for you and what's not. And you can go from there. Also, go outside. Just go outside.
I mean, I have
Please,
to
go
agree on that. Just go outside. Thistle, thank you so much for sharing your story and your wisdom, your light with us today. For all the mamas listening, may this episode remind you that you can be both rooted in your daily life and radiant in your spirit. If you'd like to connect more with Thistle and her offerings, I'll have her links in the show notes. Until next time, bless your bones, soothe your spirit, and remember, you are still magic, even when they're watching. See you in the moonlight.